this is going to happen very quickly, I think, because of the payment changes, and I think that because the payment changes are now going to tie reimbursement to some measure of what's happening in the clinical setting. And I think, again, what I said at the outset, I think this is going to be the easiest thing for the government agencies to implement, things that try to assess the patient experience and patient outcomes from the patient's perspective. Because the other things, measuring what's happening in the clinical setting, are going to be very hard for the government to do, for a remote bureaucracy to do.
One of the other things about patient-reported outcomes, we're talking a lot about physician satisfaction in the process of care, but true outcomes can be very well measured through patient, from patient material. Things like adverse events. If you're using patient-reported outcomes, adverse events, there's far more sensitivity of patient reports than physician perception of, or physician recording of adverse events. Functional status, as you mentioned, physicians' assessment of functional status does not correlate well to patients' self-reported functional status on those well-designed studies. So I think that that's very important, is that patient-reported outcomes, not just for physician satisfaction, but for true outcomes of care. I think there's a lot of opportunity in using them.
And although the government may not be capable of linking the cost structure of care.
Right.
You are.
I spend a lot of time
Right.
thinking
I
about
know.
how to link
Right.
them,
Right.
both in an aggregate reporting level as well as actually at the patient level.
And
So
that's
you
where the
really,
innovation's happening.
that's what you need
The
to have.
innovation's happening with private payers.
And that's the issue. I was just going to, I'm glad you said it, Mike, from your perspective. If you look at basically the government's ability, and I couldn't agree with you more, Scott, that's the biggest problem. We talk about all these quality programs and ACOs and everything that we'll get into. The problem is that they don't have the ability to measure. They have antiquated systems. They don't have the ability to bring the data together. But if you look at what's happening with the Aetnas of the world, for example, and with practices and combining data, some of the things that you're doing now, Mike, with Bruce Gould's practice, I mean, it is just fascinating. And on the private side is way leading the way in terms of where the government
And you have
is.
much more understanding of what's happening to your patients. I remember when I was at CMS, people used to say, why don't you do episode-based payments? And it was because we couldn't follow a patient through different episodes of care. We didn't know where they were going. So.
Drop out.
But the other thing is that you don't even have to go to an episode model, because in an episode model there are winners and then there are really big losers. You can actually do benefit design, network design. There's all kinds of intermediary steps to account for this vast information bolus that we're going to get, and support and promote high-quality care.
Right.
Because that's what it's about, right? That's, at the end of the day, what we want to do. CMS may not be able to limit their network, but I assure you, we can, right? We can.